Luke, I use a claw hammer a lot because I need to pull nails out. How would you ever get a nail out of one of those deals?
Well, that's the key. You just don't make mistakes with the nail gun.
Oh, okay.
I'm just curious, how many nails do you think are going into a normal roof?
Oh gosh, I mean, you're putting 5 per shingle. That does include the sheets of OSB. I mean, and to put the underlayment down, you're talking 10,000 plus nails.
Oh my goodness.
And a couple of them are my tires, I know that. Yeah.
Okay, this is all fascinating, but we need to start our episode today. We're going to be talking all about roofing and underlayment, and there's no better place to do this than right here in the world-famous Granite Ridge Builders Cutaway House.
And if you're just tuning in today for the first time, the last 7 episodes have been about framing our modern European chateau home we call the Monaco. And we've been focusing on the framing of that home, the walls and the decking of the floor, and then also the roof last week.
Right, so yeah, the last episode, we focused on the first part of the roof. We'll say the structural components of the roof, the rafters, the ridge board, the OSB, the H-clips, all those things that come into play for just the structure as well as some of the architectural style. But today we're making a little bit of a transition to a different part of the roof.
And by the way, speaking of the roof, you guys know what the most important invention has been in the last 20 years as it relates to the roof?
No idea.
Has to be the lift truck. That's taking those shingles from the ground and literally lifting them up to the roof where they can be used as opposed to using your back on the ladder and breaking it.
As much as I do agree with you, and I love the fact of how it saves backs, it also, saves lives too, because that's less hauling we're having to do up a ladder. I will say though that the synthetic roofing underlayment, which was originated and designed by our very own John Reese, which, guess what guys, I got a surprise. He's gonna be on the show a little bit later.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But this here, I think could make an argument is just as important as that lift truck, the boom truck.
And we use this product. It is a little bit more expensive, but it's much more durable. It covers the roof in such a way that we don't have to worry about waterproofing issues. It is under all of our shingles. So a lot of people probably don't know this, but under your shingles on your roof is either a felt or even a tar paper, and that's what protected, mainly the main protection for the elements outside.
Yeah, it was the industry standard for years, but it had some disadvantages. As we've mentioned, felt paper. It is literally just construction paper that has been soaked in asphalt, but it could tear very easily, right?
Wow.
It also, when it gets wet, because it is paper, but it is soaked in that tar, it will start to bubble, it will start to curl, it doesn't lay as nice. Now, the synthetic, I can't tear this.
No.
I mean, this stuff is tough stuff. And guess what? It's synthetic, which means water won't penetrate it and it won't start to boil up. Yeah, so again, the days of the felt are gone, right? So we are into the synthetic roofing underlayment, and we call this a Raptor underlayment, right? Raptor synthetic underlayment. And why this is so important, there's 2 components to this. Right, at the end of the day, you see the shingles, right? You think, okay, there's shingles and then the roof structure behind it, but there's this extra protective layer. This gets rolled out, right? This gets rolled out over the tops of the sheets of OSB, and this is one large sheet or one large protective sheet that if any moisture, right? Mother Nature is gonna find a way, but if it finds a way underneath those shingles, it hits this impenetrable layer.
Now the interesting thing is we have this one with our big logo on it, but also sometimes we're putting them out that have the American flag on it as well. And you only see this for what, a day?
Yeah, a day, tops, yep.
All right, this is all great. We need to go catch up with everybody else and start the show.
Get your hammers, get your hammers.
Welcome to Between the Studs. We are Granite Ridge Builders, custom builders serving northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, and also parts of southern Michigan. We have been building custom homes for almost 2 decades, and we're really passionate about what we do. So join us today as we explore the processes, the trends, and also tips that characterize today's new home. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back. Okay guys, by popular demand, the biggest talking point in the city right now is our new model that we're doing over in Shadow Creek. Obviously, everybody wants to know more about what we're doing, why, so we're going to continue talking about the process. We've talked about quite a bit. Today, they're not going to want to miss this.
And today, before we pick up from where we left off last week, we're going to give you some interesting facts about this model we call the Monaco.
The architectural style here that we're going for is called the modern European chateau style.
And this show is all about roofs. So this house, we have 7 very steep gables on just the front at a 12-12 slope. We have 16 overall throughout the entire house. There's also some wonderful dimensional shingles with a little bit of a higher profile. This all comes together to bring a gorgeous look to enhance the style.
Well, let's go over just a ton of interesting and fun facts on this house. So let's just start with the square footage. This house has 9,300 Wait, that was before you added the 460 square feet. So this house has 9,700 and some odd square feet. I think we might even be getting close to 9,800. In the basement alone, we have 3,700 square feet. There's 460 square feet in the covered front porch. We have a 28 by 20 covered veranda that ties right into the main deck, which is another 615 square feet. So you're talking over 1,000 square feet in deck space. And then below that, we've got another 1,000 square feet of concrete patio. And then that doesn't even mention the garage space. Over 1,700 square feet in garage. And then we've got over 400 square feet in garage storage attic, which has a fixed stairs.
Okay, that's a lot of square foot.
Mike, I think this is going to be the best party house we've ever been to.
I'm
We can
excited
have
for it.
all kinds of things out there.
Out of control. Speaking of out of control, let's talk about how many windows. There's 110 Anderson windows in this, plus 10 more in the garage doors, and there are 53 interior doors. That's a lot of doors for kids to slam.
Wow, wow. Plus 13 exterior doors, so even more doors to slam.
4 overhead garage doors, 2,000 different wall studs.
And talking about the number, and when you're talking about the roofing and the framing, there is 1,010 sheets of oriented strand board around this place. 365 on the roof alone.
Tony, with OSB weighing about 53 pounds a sheet, that's 25 tons worth of OSB we have on this house.
That's a lot of OSB.
Who needs a gym?
So on the exterior, we have 110 linear feet of outdoor railing, and then it took 1,500 man hours to frame this house. Wow. So to put that in perspective, if you had one guy working 40 hours a week just on framing this house, it would have taken him 38 weeks to do this house alone.
I'm glad we had more than one.
Yeah.
We have 5 gorgeous fireplaces that are all different, 4 staircases interior, not to mention the deck and the front porch steps.
Plus we have 30 appliances. And we have 30 appliances because we have 5 kitchens, 2 wet bars, and 4 laundry rooms. I have a feeling there's going to be even more than 30 appliances.
Probably.
Those appliance service guys are going to love it.
With all these numbers, you guys have got me singing like 5 tankless water heaters, 4 furnaces, 3
Something.
something or other, 2 front doors, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Okay, guys, enough of this. We got to get back to what the audience tuned in for, and that's the building and process of this. Let's talk a little bit more about the Monaco and the process of building.
Last week we talked about the roof structure and the importance of it for the building envelope, but it does far more than that. The roof can beautify, it can define the style, and it provides protection from snow and rain and sleet and wind and sun and you name everything that you could possibly throw at it. Right.
Sounds like a postman is what that sounds like.
Right. But the roof design can do a lot of things too. It can provide interior spaces that we can use. It can do attic storage. There's ventilation, there's extra insulation. So there's so much that this roof structure touches on the house from pretty much every aspect you could think of.
And specifically last episode, we talked about the gables of this house and the steep 12-12 slope that we have that gives it that really beautiful architectural style that we were going for.
And today we want to focus on the outdoor weatherproofing layers of the roof, which we would call the material.
It all starts with the OSB, or the oriented strand board. We use 1/2 inch, not 3/8. And then it's the Raptor, which is the synthetic underlayment. And then down towards the eaves, that's when we have the ice and water shield on that. Then comes on the materials.
You know, historically, we haven't had very many options as it relates to roofs and weatherproofing. That's all. Even in my lifetime, we haven't had many options.
Wow, that's a
But
long
now
time.
there's a lot of materials, a lot of things that we can look at to do the right thing on the roof.
As far back as 3000 BC, the Greeks and the Romans perfected the clay tile roof. And the Romans used the red tile roof in Middle Europe. Now you can still see this a lot today in other countries, islands, and of course, Florida. I remember my grandparents had a white tile roof.
Well, in America in the 17 and 1800s, there were a few more options. We had wood, clay tile, slate, but because of all the forests, America used mainly wood split shingles for the roof, and the problem with that were a lot of fires.
And historically speaking, metal roofs have actually been quite popular. Copper was used by the ancient Romans, and even in the 1400s, European churches used a lot of copper sheathing.
And speaking of copper, it became pretty popular on federal buildings and government buildings in the late 1700s and the early 1800s. And it was a man named Paul Revere, who was a well-known metallurgist who made that famous ride through Boston, the Redcoats are coming, who actually created a copper mill in 1802.
And it was interesting. It was really the last 200 years with the amazing American Revolution that they started with factories and they could start increasing the durability, the flexibility of shingles that really brought us to what we have available today.
That was the pivotal moment when we got into asphalt shingles, when they could actually produce these quicker, less expensive, and still keep the reliability going on with them.
So asphalt shingles were invented by a guy named Henry Reynolds, just a couple hours north up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, actually, in 1903. And then by 1939, over 11 million square of shingles were being produced annually.
Wow.
Yeah, and the asphalt shingle took over as far as popularity is concerned, and mainly first because of just it didn't create as much of a fire hazard as the wood shingles. And then the sensation just started taking over because people realized how easy they were to install. They could manufacture them very quickly. They were recyclable, virtually no maintenance. And so all these things just kept going into, and it became literally the most popular roof, and it's been the most popular roof in the United States for the last 100 years.
But boy, how things have changed and improved. Tony and I have been building homes for 45 years. And back in the 70s, that asphalt shingle had a warranty of 20 years. Good luck getting 20 years out of it. And a wind, velocity, if the wind blew over about 50 miles an hour, you'll have to find your shingles at the neighbor's house. But anyway, things have greatly improved since those days.
And so we've even added things like the diamond cut asphalt granules that help you have a sparkle to the roof. And they've added things like adhesive glues that are better, and even non-combustible fiberglass to help make it more fireproof.
Yeah, these asphalt shingles are really, truly amazing. That's why 80% of all the United States people that have a house and a roof, that's what they have on their roofs.
And at Granite Ridge Builders, we prefer the asphalt shingle. It has a fiberglass matte core, and over the years, our shingle that we use on our homes has dramatically improved.
So Lonnie, long gone are your days of 20-year warranties on roofs. Today, we have a limited lifetime warranty. You heard me right. And then you said, you got a 50-mile-per-hour wind, you'd have shingles flapping. Today, the warranty is 110-mile-per-hour wind rating on those. So it can pretty well withstand the majority of the winds that we get here in Indiana.
We also now have an algae warranty. Everyone's looked up at those houses and seen those black streets that come down. That's algae, and our shingles have a warranty against that.
Here at Granite Ridge Builders, we use the best architectural asphalt shingle available. It's a dimensional Landmark Certainteed brand called the Landmark Shadow Accent, and this is the same thing we're using out at our brand new model, the Monaco.
So let's take a minute to talk about the makeup of this shingle and why we feel that it was the best option for the Monaco.
And the Monaco has a 12-12 slope roof. That's the main roof slope. And there are 16 gables. And we have picked out the very finest shingle for that house because we want a lifetime warranty because we're not getting up there to change it.
So these shingles are made up of 9 layers. Mike, hold up your fingers so we go through all these 9, right? So the first layer, we're going to start from the lowest all the way to the top, right? So the first is going to be, there is a seal strip. So there's a layer of sealant that once it's in the heat or the sun will activate it and it'll actually bond the shingles together, which really helps us with that wind warranty. Then from there, we go into a layer of asphalt. So they spray the asphalt. Then there we lay a fiberglass mat on top of that asphalt. Then on top of that fiberglass mat, we do another layer of asphalt, and then we do granules. That makes up the first section. Now what we do is they lay what's called a dragon's tooth over the top of that, which is those same 4 components. It's made up the same way. Doesn't have the seal strip on it, but it's got the asphalt, then the fiberglass mat, then the asphalt, and then the granules again. And that dragon's tooth, I talked about John Reese, how we're going to meet him here in a little bit. His father is the one who actually helped make that dragon's tooth, and that added a lot of extra weight, but also a lot of definition and really helped mimic the look of a wood shake from the curb.
Okay, so let's get back to the Monaco roof. There were so many choices to pick from on the roofs that we could have used. Why did we choose what we did?
Well, obviously there are a lot to pick from, and we wanted to go with durability, strength, aesthetics, all of that. And even within asphalt shingles, there are a lot of different ones to choose from a style standpoint. So Certainteed has several series of shingles that we looked at. We looked at the presidential series, which is a little different style than what we were going for. There's even shingles that look more like the scallop sort of look, and those just didn't fit the style. We wanted to go with the modern European chateau, and that's what we did with this Landmark Pro series.
Okay, last question. So why did we choose the color that we did for that Monaco model?
Well, there's a lot that goes into it, and when you're looking at any home and picking the roof color, we call that coloring the canopy, and there's a lot of important things to consider.
It is a really important decision because it affects the entire look and streetscaping of your home. It can also enhance your architectural style, or it can detract if you do it wrong.
Now, we picked a really high definition black color, and we did that because we have a lot of nice black accents throughout the exterior of the home. We have black windows, we have some black metal railing on the front, the black front door, some black metal roof accents. So all of this tied those components together.
And Kayla, this was really the perfect choice for the modern European chateau style.
Okay, hopefully the audience found this interesting. Let's get back out to the job site, see what's going on.
Yeah, I think John's waiting for us.
Let's go.
So we're out here at the Shadow Creek model. I'm super excited about some of these shots. We're going to be focusing on a roof, but I brought somebody here that not only do I have a high respect for, but I also give the opportunity to call him a friend. This is John Reese. And we're so fortunate to have him. He is based out of Indy. Reese Wholesale, you may have seen it off of Speedway Drive. There are 9 locations between Indiana and Kentucky that are all servicing the construction industry, but their specialty is roofing, and John knows so much about roofing. Not only does he know so much, he is also in the Indiana Hall of Fame for roofing. You probably didn't even know there was such a thing, but you're looking at a Hall of Famer here in the roofing industry, and he just knows so much. And not only does he know so much, he has written codes, he has helped manufacturers, large manufacturers, Certainty, GAF, all of the big companies develop specs. Every year he tests products to try to raise the entire industry to a different level, and he has just done so much, and I can't thank him personally enough for what he's brought to Granite Ridge from a knowledge, but it's been a great partnership over the years, and I just wanted everybody to know how lucky and how exciting these shots are going to be.
Well, thank you, Luke, and it's all because of the things that builders and your contractors have taught me. So people like Luke would call me and say, we're having a problem with the window, we're having a problem with the roof, and the next thing I know, I'd be on the roof with 2 or 3 of his workers, and we'd all figure it out together. And I've been doing this with Tony for a long time, and now with Luke, and I can tell you, I can guarantee you that 3 years from now, we'll be doing something nobody ever thought of.
Exactly.
And it'll make it better.
Yep, well, let's go check out the house. So today's show is all about roofing materials. You just met John Reese. And before we get to the shingles, we cannot stress it enough. Long gone are the days of felt. Felt is dead. We have to stress how important this Raptor is to our entire roofing structure. Because just like a house, the house is only as good as the foundation. The roof is the same way. The roof is only as good as what's underneath it. And with this Raptor being that it is completely waterproof, it is stronger, tougher than felt, so we have to put far fewer staples or nails in it, which means far fewer holes in your roof assembly. And one of those things too, it is impenetrable to water. So we're living in Indiana. You're gonna have frost, dew, rain, all those things that are gonna come in contact with that felt. That won't affect this. You won't get the bubbling. In my career, in the 20 years of doing roofing industry, the Raptor solved so many problems with felt in one swoop that it literally makes your shingles perform better, last longer, and you're gonna be happier with your roof overall.
Well, Luke, when I started 60 years ago, actually felt predated shingles. And felt was used in the auto industry and a lot of other things, but it was saturated felt, and it was made by the cellulose from used rags, newsprint, magazines.
Whatever they could find.
They would have paper drives.
Yes.
And it was way before your kids' time, but everybody would throw their papers in, and we'd collect them and take them down, and they'd slurry them up and drag them up, and then put some asphalt fillers with them, and they would make what's called asphalt saturated felt. And it came through the roller, and then further downstream became the shingle. So we took the asphalt saturated felt, we put coating asphalt top and bottom, we added some granules to it, and we had what was called an asphalt shingle, an organic shingle. Many years later, we evolved into fiberglass mat, which made this obsolete for the manufacture of shingles, and the fiberglass mat lended away to the fiberglass shingle, which we use today.
All right, John, let's spend a little bit of time talking about the shingle itself. Now, what we've got here in front of us, this is what used to be called a 3-tab shingle. Now, Granite Ridge moved off of these several years ago, but this used to be kind of the industry standard, and they're used to, from a warranty standpoint, these were rated for about 25 years. Then we had a different, step up, which is about 30 to 40 years, and now today we can get them where it's a lifetime warranty. So things have definitely evolved as far as the shingle is concerned.
Now, the only reason they didn't make a laminate back then is they didn't know how. Nobody ever made one of these before. And so this was, and they thought, oh, this looks a lot like cedar shake. We've got tabs, Well, nobody in the planet's ever thought this looked like a cedar shake. Now notice just playing here how that's torn. Well, that's what happens here.
Yep, and these typically the whole shingle wouldn't blow off, but you get these little tabs that would blow off and tear. And so you wouldn't have a whole big area, you just have this maybe 6-inch to 8-inch area that was exposed.
Luke, and a lot of times just one tab blew up.
Yep.
And then it stayed.
Yeah.
And it does that a couple of times. And so, and there were other problems with this shingle. Isn't this a hole?
Yep.
Isn't that a pathway through? So many times you just had one layer of shingle underneath that slot. And down here we had one layer of shingle. But what I am trying to emphasize was that there were so many things wrong with the 3-tab shingle, but it's all we had. And then believe it or not, my father, and they started making these without the slots, but then they expanded and contracted. But my father was one of the first people to say, I'm just going to cut that 3-tab shingle and overlap it at the joints and maybe put a tab in the middle. And he and people like him, the early roofers, actually made the first laminate shingle. So there, you just saw a history of recreation of Columbus discovering America, but the first laminate shingle was made by roofers. And they just sliced pieces of shingles and made tabs. They'd always cover the joint at the end, and then they'd throw one in the middle, and now, doesn't that look a little bit like this? And there is the evolution of a laminate shingle. Now the problem was, enough of these 3-tab shingles, and really it's time they died a natural death.
So everything John said is absolutely 100% true, and we fully believe it. That's why we have the laminated shingle on all of our roofs as a standard. We require those nails to be in that exact location because we want to make sure that your roof is going to last you that lifetime, and there's nothing we've done to compromise that.
Charity, who knew there was so many things to talk about with roofs? I know a lot of people when they come in for their selections and we get to the point of selecting the roof, they're like, okay, we're just putting a roof on, right?
Right, I have to choose that?
Right. Now there's a lot of different things you can choose when it comes to your roof selection. One is going to be the material, and 2, the color. And we have multiple options for each type of category, and we have some popular ones here to show.
That's right. A lot of people do this black or driftwood, which kind of has a brown tint to it, because you can match maybe it's warmer colors like we have on the Monaco. You want that driftwood color. It really does make a difference.
It really makes a big difference, and it depends, like what Charity was saying, what you want to play off of with the rest of the house. Do you want the roof to be the focal point, which some people do because they have a lot of great structure when it comes to roof? Or do you want the roof to just blend in because you're really excited about that stone color you picked or the siding color, and you want that to accentuate those items and not be the focal point? So that's really the first decision that we try to go through is what are we going to accomplish with that roof color?
I do love how we put it all, and by we I mean the decorators, not me, put it all together like this so you can really visualize. Besides the fact then we can pull up pictures of that same roof or that same siding on other houses that we've done. But it's just a good way to visualize what will all look like together.
It is, and the other popular choice that we have to pick from here in our area is going to be a metal roof. Now, in most of our houses, we like to do a metal roof accent if it goes with that style of home. And I have some samples here that are really fun to play with. I mean, you could do burgundies or black. You could even do this awesome copper color and kind of stay true to the time of the original sort of metal roof selections. We have this copper color on one of our models in Grayson that is beautiful. At the Monaco, we're going to do a black. Again, it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish with those colors and the overall scheme of the home. But it's really, it can be fun to play around with your roof colors, your metal roofs, your shingle roofs, and have those options to be able to pick from.
The metal roof really does make an impact.
Yes.
You can do it in a small way, but it makes a big impact. I had somebody who was able to we were able to get a green that matched their existing pole barn on their property. So it's great. Then it tied their new house in with their pole barn. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Well, if you want to learn more about all of the options that we have here, come into Granite Ridge. We'd love to show you.
All right, guys, I got the sample here. This is what we were talking about when it comes to Dragon Tooth, and I can't tell you how lucky we are. John's dad helped design the Dragon Tooth. John created the synthetic roofing underlayment, the Raptor. Really, when we meet with John, it's like meeting with roofing royalty, and we've got him at our disposal. He has helped Granite Ridge be a better builder, and he has also improved the industry as a whole to make these asphalt shingles really top-notch.
And mark your calendar because our grand opening is going to be this fall for the Monaco, so don't forget, mark your calendar this fall.
But you don't have to wait till fall to see what's going on because every week we're putting updates on our social media, so be sure and follow us there. So we're definitely out of time. We're very chatty today. Kayla, can you close for us?
Thank you all so much for joining us today. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do so well, please pick up the phone and give us a call. Visit our website, or even better yet, come in our doors. We would love to talk to you about your home and this home, the Monaco.
And we are here today in our world famous cutaway home where we're going to talk to you today all about something I just forgot.
Okay.
Tony with OSB weighing about 53 sheets or
53.
Wait, don't-
53 sheets a pound.
53 sheets to the wind.
And that's your total.
All these numbers got me feeling like 5 tankless water heaters. Okay.
Did you have any more than that? That was really great.
Gives it a lot more rigidity. Then you have the Rapture, which is the...
That's what Jesus is
Hallelujah.
That's the architectural
Hallelujah. Well,
He's scaring me.
Mick, you got your boomer.
The Raptor. We are not doing that.
I've never seen Elizabeth go up with her hands in the
We're
air.
all headed for the rapture.
We're praying for it, man. I'll tell you.
Amen, brother.
Improve.
I think improved.
We didn't raise the bar, we raised the roof.
Wrong show.
You idiot.
That was funny.
Really the best agricultural asphalt shingle there is available. It is a dimensional certainty.
Agricultural.
She did.
Architectural.
I was
Wait for her to bring it in.
What is
I decided I could not say anything to anybody today.
It's a dimensional landmark certainty brand called Crap.
No, it's not called crap.
It's got such a
It is not called crap.
catchy name.
Well, there's a call from Certainty.
Let's not send this to Certainty.
If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
So there's a lot of different choices you can do, and one of those is a synthetic. Why can't I think of the word?
Rapture.
Nope. I'm never gonna live that.
We would love to talk to you about your home and this home, the Monaco.
You know, those
Okay.
12 slow.
The roof just caved in.
The rapture.